president of the Historical Society and try to run the museum. Few announcements. We always start out with a few announcements. We have on that card table behind you, we have a flyer about our new exhibit if you'd like to take one. We also have a list of, we'd like for you to start with your name and the way to be contacted for this. I know a lot of people get it off Facebook, but sometimes I'll send emails of reminders. So whatever is your best method, of transportation, conversation, whatever, let me know what it is, okay? Another thing we're doing is November the 5th. We're doing a walk through the cemetery. We're doing it again. Well, rain, shine, COVID, flu, it doesn't matter. We're doing it. And David Franklin, who is the drama teacher at Coffee High School, is going to be enlisting some of his male students because it's really hard to get men to emote and act. They don't like to do that. But it's a really good time for those of you that have never seen it. We have a ball. And Linda Krebs, Mel McCraney, everybody said, are they going to do it? I said, yeah, they're going to do it. Some people are just normal clowns, so it makes it a lot more fun. We still need volunteers. If you know someone that can give 3 hours on a Friday, let me know. We lost some because of COVID and some that can't come back because of COVID. So we're running a little slack. Okay? And that's pretty much it. We'll be here next month. I'm not sure yet. Haven't got it knocked down. We'll be here next month. But if you have any suggestions of people to come and give a topic, we'll be glad to entertain that issue. Larry Mobley was supposed to be here today, and he called me Monday. He had been in the hospital. He had bronchitis, and he couldn't come. So I'm sitting there with my dining room table stacked with papers, and I said, the only thing I can talk about is the Centennial, because that's what I've been doing this summer. One of the things we get is a lot of information, and we're trying to compile it in a way that people can come in and find it. And the only way I can do it is to go through all of it. So that's what I have done. I've done everything from a graduate's paper from that college in Alabama, whatever his name is, I can't remember now. But everything we could find on the Centennial we have. One of the things that spurred my interest in the Centennial was in 2015, we got glass plate negatives from Rogers Studio. And you'll see them around here. This is just a tiny bit of the pictures. Mr. Rogers must have taken 10,000. The Historical Society gave them to the Georgia Historical Society, so they are available for us, but we still own them, so to speak. I laid some out just for you to look and browse through. Learned a lot about the Centennial that I didn't know. My only memory of the Centennial, I remember standing in the back of a pickup truck wearing that dress and that stupid bonnet because it itched. I ain't gonna tell you what happened when I said that, but anyway, I remember being hot and miserable in that red dress back there on that wall. Joanne wasn't even 2. She was like,
I was probably being a happy child.
right.
Both of them was crying.
But I don't have any memories of that, but a lot of people do. How many were adults in 1950s? Adults. Were you an adult in 1950s?
Yeah, they was.
See, when a 4-year-old doesn't have any memories that are conducive to history, so we start with that. It started with a steering committee. Now, I've got my notes, but these are just to remind me to tell people's names, so don't know all these pages are not going to be talked about, so just relax. A steering committee got together, and they actually started in July of '53. And the steering committee and all the committees had somebody from every community in the county. I don't think the county has pulled together that way since then. I really don't. There have been pockets that have, but everybody in Coffee County was represented and did input and participated in the Centennial. It brought a lot of entertainment because it was 6 days and, well, Sunday didn't count, but every day and night you had things to do, fun things, serious things, whatever. The steering committee, Dr. Walter Wilson, many people will remember him. He was the chair. William McCrary was the treasurer. J.B. Jordan, Frank Veazey, Jack Vickers were the men on the team. Now this next part is one of my pet peeves with history. A woman had no identity unless she was married. So these people were Mrs. Joe Ray, Mrs. Ed Lott, Mrs. Stokes Gillis, Mrs. Oscar Pridgeon, Mrs. Otis Wilcox, and Mrs. Ralph Paul. So, I mean, it's just, never mind. There were lots of committees. You had one for costume and construction and makeup and novelties and gates and ushers. There were 203 people on committees for the Centennial, and several of them were on more than one committee. Newton Tyson was on the church service committee and the Centerama committee. I found it ironic that they broached the John B. Rogers Company, that their sole job in that company was putting on Centeramas. It's hard to say for me, Centeramas. And they were very cut and dried. It didn't matter that the Indians in this area didn't have teepees, the Centerama did. It didn't matter if it was in South Carolina, Florida, they did them all over the United States, but certain aspects were always the same. And this started in the 20s. It gave a real big thing for any kind of celebration. You hire them. Yankees. That was so ugly to me. I'm so sorry. Forgive me. There were 217 people in the Centerama cast. That doesn't include the cows, the horses, the mules, all those other extras, okay? They had a 42-member choir from all over the county, and Newton Tyson was the choir director. But Rogers Company, the county had to provide historical information, a cast, a band, and a piano or an organ. Men had to grow beards. This was in the contract. Men had to grow beards. Women were not to wear makeup and had to wear period clothes. This was in the contract. It was, they said, a few $1,000s. I can't find anywhere where it was exactly given me a price. Rogers worked out all the details, the pageant, the script. They provided costumes and all that stuff. They constructed the stage and the lighting to their specifications. They urged the steering committee to sell wooden nickels, little wooden nickels. You buy a nickel, you got an, if you gave them a nickel, you got a wooden nickel. Non-refundable. So if you had not spent them by the last day of the celebration, you're out of luck. I guess that's why you don't find many in the museum. Sorry. It started out to be local, and the steering committee decided, since Atkinson County was part of us at that time, they were part of us now. And to give them credit, they really put on a show. They had they had events in Pearson and Willacoochee and Kirkland. So they were very prevalent in all this. Every community participated. But the daily activities is what just floored me. I don't know what people did that had to work because there was always something going on. They set up an antique museum in an old building. They set on Peterson, that's all they did. But the review stand was in front of the courthouse. And every day they had some kind of a musical program. It could be dance contest, a Negro spiritual contest. It could be anything. It varied widely. Jitterbug dance, a bug dance, and a cakewalk dance. Now I know the jitterbug, and I've seen the bug dance, but the cakewalk dance, I have no idea what that is. But the most fun thing I found was a hog calling contest and the kangaroo court. Now there's some pictures here around somewhere. If a woman wanted to wear makeup, she could buy a button, a permit to wear makeup. If she was in town, had on makeup without the button, they got dunked in a tub of water. It's cute pictures. One of the pictures. The same thing with men. You could buy a button. This was Brothers of the Brush. These, if you were in town without facial hair, you got put in the stocks. And the kangaroo court, they set it up. They had a lawyer and judge and all this up there, and it was just fun. It was also a way to make money because you had to buy the buttons and the permits. And the Sisters of the Swish, that's because they wore long dresses, the period clothes, and that was their deal. They had bands from Waycross, they had one from Savannah, they had one from Valdosta, all kinds of places. I don't know who got these because we just don't know, but somebody went to a lot of trouble to contact a lot of people. There was a parade every afternoon, and every day was a different theme. Monday was Pioneer and Statesman's Day. The Lieutenant Governor, Marvin Griffin, and folks Huxford spoke that day. Tuesday was Ag Day. Wednesday was Youth Day. Nothing but a parade of children's on float. So you know Mom and Dad and Grandmas was all in town watching them babies on them floats. Thursday was Good Neighbor and County Day. This is the day that people from Ware County and all them enter floats in the parade. Atkinson County had one. Bacon County had one. It was just, they made sure everyone got to participate and pay to do it. Friday was Negro Day. The parade was nothing but from the black community. Jack McLean at that time was one of the leaders in the area, and he was host of American Legion 515, and he got that parade together with the beauty queens and the football players and the American Legion and all that stuff. Saturday was Veterans Day. It actually fell on Armed Forces Day that they used to celebrate. They had a TS-33 T-Bird and Banshee jets from Moody and Jacksonville. And the final parade was floats and Army tanks. Now, I don't know if you remember it or not, but we used to have tanks in parades here in Douglas until they started cutting up the road. So in 1954, I don't think, they were just glad they were here. They didn't want to care if they cut up the road. That is also the day that they dedicated the World War I and World War II memorial at the courthouse. Ernest Vandiver, and I actually met him, Adjutant General of the Georgia National Guard, was the speaker, and he held the dedication for those two monuments. I always wondered, did they so much as stick them up there? But every night after a 2-hour Centorama, they had a fireworks display. Before that, they had singing. They sang songs, you know, all the way on with Christian soldiers. And I've even got a flyer here somewhere. Let's see if I got it up here. On the Sunday night service, before the week started, nobody had church Sunday night in Coffee County. They all went to the football field. And we got a list of the songs and the preachers that spoke there and everything. And it seemed to have been quite a crowd. But besides fireworks every night, they had midway shows, you know, like the hawkers and the circus. But they always had, at 10 p.m., late at night, a street dance downtown between the courthouse and Trust Company Bank. That's where the dance was every night. Merchants went all out. They decorated their windows. It was a contest, but it was all based on that time period of 1854 on up. They tried to stay 1854. The Army came in with a huge exhibit, huge because it had equipment and everything else there with it. This was when Meek's Log Cabin, that is now at General Coffee State Park, it served as the headquarters for the Centennial offices downtown Douglas. And I'm told, I don't know, that it was about where Douglas Federal is, this trial, was that right? They said the Meek's Cabin was close to the courthouse. Is that it? I wasn't sure. Another thing they had, and I found this ironic in one way, they had a beauty pageant for Miss Coffee County Centennial. And it's not the pageant, it's that you got to go to the Queen's Ball for $10. And guess where they had it? In a warehouse. Can you imagine the heat? Of course, you never had air conditioner, so you wouldn't be that hot, but they had it all decorated. They gave great details about the decorations. Another thing I found out, that there's still some businesses that advertise for this very well that are still operational today. Lot Builders, Dean and Malcolm Drugstores, Belk's, Harvey's, Sims Funeral Home, and Norris Shoe Store. Now, one of the most unique things I thought, because I had never thought about this until COVID and I had to go through files. Here's a program for the Centurona and the Centennial. And it gives you a lot of information. I've got several I want y'all to look at if you'd like to. It lists everybody in charge of Ag Day, the script and title committee, the hospitality division. They're all in here, as well as advertising and this, and it's a promotional thing, it was built. This was in 1954. This is a reprint from 1956 of Douglas and Coffee County. I think the chamber did this, didn't it? And what I found was, in the doctoral thesis that the guy wrote at that college, I can't remember. No, Clemson. He was at Clemson, I think. Yeah. He tied everything with the Centennial on race and politics. When actually, if you get right down to it, it was all about this. It was about drawing people to our community and all the community being together, doing it together. That's what it was all about. And he points out political things and racial things and all this, but it really wasn't the key that brought this Centennial to Coffee County. It was the people with an idea. And that, see, to me, that's what makes it start to go. Now, that's all I'm going to talk about. So I want you to look at this stuff. I want you to look at the programs. I've got some more up here I'll get hand out for you. But I also have pictures laying around. And if you were in Coffee County during this time period and you recognize anybody, please let me know. One of the saddest things in the world is to have pictures of all these people and have no idea who they are. It's bad enough when it's children, but some of these people, I think they had a really big party at the golf club because some of the pictures are just a little racy. But I like these best. I like these best. But, If you know somebody in these pictures or you think you do, just let us know.
Carol, I remember when we were doing research at Ashley Slater House, we were finding old pictures that Miss Ada had left in a trunk because we were trying to identify some historic light pictures that were up in the attic and that were original to the house. So we saw them in these pictures, and one was, and we had them restored, and they're hanging in the house now, but one was at a dining room table and everybody was really dressed fancy. And Lester Maddox, way before governor, was sitting at one end of the table, Miss Ada at the other end. And then we found a newspaper article, and I don't know where it is, it's somewhere, but that event at her house was for the Centennial, and he led the parade, one of the nights, riding his bicycle in the Centennial parade.
Go Lester. Go Lester. Anybody got any questions that if I can't answer, maybe somebody else can? We have a tablet, a memo pad and a pen here. If you find somebody that looks like somebody you know, let us know. But the city was going to do an anniversary for the city of Douglas in 2020, and it got canceled because of COVID. I'm kind of glad it did, because I don't know how big a deal they were going to make, but that would have been too big a deal. So at that time. Any questions? Remember, if you got any ideas for programs, make sure you sign up on that paper over there on that card table with your name so we'll know how to contact you. And if you have ideas, just let me know. We appreciate it. If you know somebody that wants to come up here and sit and read a book for 3 hours on a Friday, let me know. All righty. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Carol.